The big headline from the e-commerce space after filing cases against Flipkart and 4 sellers on its platform for allegedly selling counterfeit products, US lifestyle and footwear brand Skechers has issued a notice in today's newspapers. The notice reads, and I quote, "It has come to our attention that certain fakes, replicas, counterfeits of Skechers branded products are being offered for sale on Flipkart.com by certain unscrupulous traders, including Macro Wagon Private Limited, Ahmedabad, and Tech Connect Retail Private Limited, Gurgaon. These counterfeits so nearly resemble the original Skechers branded products that it is impossible for a consumer to differentiate between them." However, the notice goes on to add, and I quote, "These counterfeits may be detected by carefully reviewing the products and their packaging." Well, the Skechers case is not an isolated one. Here's a CNN News 18 investigation on why you should be suspicious of products that are sold with deep discounts on e-commerce platforms.
The holiday season is here, and with that, the great online discount bazaar. But wait. Hold on before you splurge. The objects displayed on your screens might not be what you think they are. What we're going to show you now will shock you. What if we tell you that most of the products which offer over 50% discounts could be fake? CNN News 18 brings you the reality of the mega discount.
E-commerce portals like Snapdeal, Shopclues, Flipkart and Amazon. And on all what we have discovered is a horror story wherein almost 60% sports goods which are being sold are fakes.
Dhirendra is a brand intelligence entrepreneur who works with the cops to detect and seize fake goods. CNN News 18 teamed up with him to expose how fake products have crowded the online market. These screenshots show how even the biggest of the e-sellers have these fake product sellers. Flipkart, Amazon, Shopclues, etc. According to the brand intelligence sleuths, almost 60% sports goods being sold are duplicate. Most of these products offer a discount to the extent of 60 to 70%.
As far as these e-commerce platforms are concerned, the story being sold to ordinary consumers is high discounts being offered, but there's a story behind it, and it's all not true. These are fakes.
CNN News 18 went with him on a raid to one of the hubs of fake products in western Uttar Pradesh's Meerut, and all these stockpile of goods are fake. An original Costco or Nivea balls cost close to 1,000 rupees, but these balls were to be sold online for as little as 400 rupees. The buyer who trusts the brand name of the retail market space for the quality assurance will end up receiving a counterfeit product.
These balls, one, they do not have any hologram, and each of my footballs and volleyballs, Costco and Nivea, they come in a cardboard box, right, which has a MRP label with barcode as per the Legal Metrology Act and the packaging rules. Okay. So these balls have none of those, and we've been trained to identify.
Not just these sports goods, even those Nike sweaters are fake as well.
आपको ये मालूम है कि ये जो आप माल खरीद रहे हो ये ओरिजिनल है डुप्लीकेट है ये बता दो सब बात खत्म कर दो
क्या ओरिजिनल डुप्लीकेट सर एक फुटबॉल सर मैं आपको कोई चीज बता रहा हूं बॉल है वो डुप्लीकेट है ओरिजिनल है बता दो कैसी हो जो आपके पास ऊपर माल रखा हो ओरिजिनल है डुप्लीकेट है मैं एक चीज बता देता हूं हां आप तो यहीं पे थाने से ही आए हैं बाहर पैंट लगती है बाहर पैंट जो लगती है उसमें स्वेटर बिकता है उस पे नाइकी का निशान बना हुआ है वो ओरिजिनल है डुप्लीकेट है
The brand investigators try spotting the unnatural discounts and unusual activity on the e-commerce websites to spot the counterfeit products. After that, they proceed to do over 50 purchases from various traders to gain evidence, and finally, when the list is ready, they go for the raids.
While it is the constant surveillance that is needed to unearth these fake products online, the question here is why these e-commerce websites are not taking strictest possible action on the notorious traders, because at the end of the day, the consumers are buying products online on the basis of the reputation of these e-commerce websites and not that of the traders.
It's been 24 hours, but we're still waiting for a reply from Flipkart.
At the end of the day, you're all alone in this big, bad online market. That's why whatever you buy, buy with care. If a deal looks too good to be true, then generally it isn't. Like for this one, I purchased it for only 400 bucks, getting a discount of over 70%, but it turned out to be a fake ball. And that's why always read the review section. Probably there could be the hint of the truth.
Well, joining us now to discuss what that investigation throws up, Harminder Sani of Wazir Advisors tracks the online retail space very closely, and Yatish Rajawat, the Chief Strategy Officer at Local Circles. In fact, Local Circles had done a poll which CNBC TV 18 had carried, which showed that 62% consumers had found a significant variation between online reviews and an actual product received, highlighting the crisis of confidence with online retail. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here on the show. Harminder, let me start by asking you, I mean, platforms usually take the route saying, look, we're only providing the platform, it's others who are providing the product. Can they continue to absolve themselves of all responsibility? When you're seeing things like 60% of the sports goods sold on online platforms are counterfeits?
See, I don't think so. First, to answer your question, I don't think this absolves them of the responsibility saying that we are just the platform. Because eventually, consumers are buying it on Flipkart, and Flipkart is advertising, Amazon is advertising, and they're saying, come online, come to our store and buy whatever you want. Beyond that goes without that we will stand by what you're buying from here. They're getting the real stuff. But it's an open secret that people are not getting what they are buying. And
No, so who's responsible then? Who should be held accountable? Who should be responsible for a fake that is sold on a platform? What does the consumer do? What is the recourse to the consumer?
I think the consumer, whether the law says it or not, I think the recourse is straight goes to the retailer who is putting this product online, because there's no difference in buying online or offline as long as you're buying through a retailer. Whatever may be the legality of it, I think it's a matter of detail. But eventually, consumer is buying from the retailer, whether they go to Big Bazaar offline or whether they go to a Flipkart online. I think the responsibility has to lie with the retailer only. And if they don't take the responsibility, and if they come out clear and loud that we will not take the responsibility, let's see how much is doing with them. How many consumers will continue to shop with them?
Yeah, but Harminder, what can online platforms like Flipkart, like ShopClues do? We've got statements from at least companies like ShopClues saying that there's a zero tolerance policy, etc. But clearly that doesn't seem to be working if this investigation shows that, in just one category, the counterfeits are 60% in the sports goods category.
See, Shireen, it's very clear that most of the consumer product companies, they have their quality control, they have quality check methods to do. There are some people who follow it 100% and ensure that nothing goes wrong. And there are companies which are lesser in these terms and they allow these kind of slippages to happen in their quality, in their packaging, and lots of other stuff. So I think that's differentiate between the good brand and a bad brand. And similarly, this will differentiate between the really serious and sincere customer-centric retailer versus the retailers who are trying to just make hay while the sun shines. So I think whether it's 60% compliance or a 60% failure, it has to come down to close to zero. Nobody can take it down to zero, even in the real world. So even in offline, there are lots of fakes floating around. So let's not only say it's only online. So the good brands and the retailers, for their own reputation, for keeping their consumers to them and make them loyal, I think they have to bring it down close to zero. And for that, they will have to make investments. For that, they will have to take services of people. They have to have surveillance. They have to literally take people to the courts to ensure that these people who are trying to sell fakes, they are taken to trust. Even one case like that will discourage 100 others. But as of now, we don't see much of that happening in this case.
No, we don't. So we will need to see much more proactive action by platforms against retailers who are offering fake products on their platforms. So Yatish Rajawat, one is the problem of fakes that we've just talked about, but the other is the problem of fake reviews, for instance, customer dissatisfaction about what you were advertising and what finally is sent to my house being two very different things altogether. And that's what your Local Circles survey threw up. So there is, in a sense, a trust deficit and a crisis of confidence, is it not, which should be worrying for the online retailers?
Shireen, we've observed that the trust deficit is continuously growing exponentially with most of these e-commerce companies, and they do not realize that in their search for the gross merchandise value, which is the total amount of sale, they're actually losing customers as they go by. They have created a system which basically encourages fake reviews they market it as a selling proposition. They allow sellers to come on board without verifying their antecedents or whether they are genuine dealers of a brand or not. And these are basics which every offline retailer like a Big Bazaar or a any of the Trends or even the Reliance retail follows to the T, because they do not want to carry a product which does not come through the dealer network. If you remember, a year or two back, Samsung and LG has actually gone and said that we will not allow any of our brands to be sold online. And the reason for that was that there was a conflict which was happening between their branded stores and the e-commerce guys. The e-commerce platform were actually discounting it to an extent that it was harming their dealer network. Now, these are issues of trust deficit per se, and they have not created system and processes on it. Another facet of it is, which I must point out to you, is that, where does these fake actually come from, and why are they able to subvert the whole system? These fakes are coming directly from China and Malaysia, and they are being routed through free trade agreements that we have had with Singapore, for instance. So now, who has taught them this route? The very subsidiary of these platforms have taught them this route, because their largest sourcing, like in the case of Amazon's Cloudtail, which is based out of Singapore. Now, they've taught them that there is a possibility for you to route the whole exchange out of Singapore into India directly without going through any custom clearances or even custom duties. So there would have been a check if the fake would have come from the proper route, and it would have been checked by custom at some level or the other, or in a dock. Now, but that does not happen for the e-commerce guys.
So
so larger quantity is going into e-commerce than it is going into the in the offline retail market, so to say.
Offline retail market. Fair point you make. But Harminder, let me come back to you now. And what's the way forward? Because, so far, this business has largely sort of stayed out of the government's hair, so to speak. There has been a lot of clamor for more regulation. What is this likely to lead to? And what is the need of the hour, given the state of the industry?
So, I think two things are happening, as you might be aware of.
1 second, Yatish. I'll just come to you, Yatish. Yeah, Harvinder, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying industry players themselves will have to realize that the potential which they are going after is enormous. And these are early days. Whether you are 100 million down here or 200 million up there, it's not going to matter when the e-commerce industry is going to become 100, 200 billion in this country in the coming times, in our own lifetimes. That will be the real time when you will be seriously large players. Right now, whatever is happening, I think it's too small to even bother. Look at the numbers in China, look at the numbers in US, and making these kind of concessions to your merchants to allow them to sell fake products. Personally, I would not like to believe that they are encouraging it and showing people these kind of paths to do it. But even if they are turning a blind eye to something which is happening on their platforms, I think they are hurting themselves more than anybody else. Because as a consumer, I may buy something fake today, tomorrow I'll stop buying from them. But what is going to happen to their own businesses? So I think industry has to come together and really take steps where before any huge regulation starts coming on them and they start getting controlled, like we have seen in case of shared cab system, that how much more regulation can come in and how it can hurt the business overall. I think the responsibility lies clearly with the industry players themselves. And like I said, it's very
the responsibility does lie with the industry.
Absolutely. So they should take
with some preemptive action. Yatish, very quickly, we're running out of time. Yatish, a final comment from you.
So, Shireen, there are two things which are happening. As you know, that the Department of Consumer Affairs and the Legal Metrology Act has basically said from January 1 onwards, the e-commerce company have to make the complete disclosure of the MRP and best before product. You were talking about sports goods, but these kind of fake and counterfeit products also exist for branded food products. Okay, so what is going to happen from January 1 is that they will have to show you the price detail as it is existing on the product, which they never used to do earlier. So therefore, they could discount it to an X level, without you knowing the actual price of the product. When they show you the pricing itself, you know that is this a fake or not, by seeing the picture itself. So that's a very crucial change that's going to come to them, and they're all struggling to meet that from January 1. Shirin.